So this is a pretty exciting day for me. This is a little over half of the softwood cuttings or the semi-softwood cuttings from this summer that had rooted that I'm planting out now. And I've got all kinds of stuff in here, a lot of experiments, some stuff that didn't need to be an experiment but was. Because you can just read about these things and do what they say, but I find myself doing a little bit of that and a little bit of whatever happens. So we've got Panseris trifolata, the hardy orange. That went really well. The only key there was not to overwet the phosphorus deficiency in the leaves there. That was all from being too wet and not rooting out well. Those green ones on the left here, those are just in a little bit moist, but not as moist as the other ones, and they rooted out much better. But the other ones will catch up now that they're planted out in a bed. And then we've got, that's Western red cedar. And we've got some apricots that went really well. Triple Crown Thornless Blackberry was virtually 100%. Finally got gummies to go really well. All variety gummy berries. Tons of hardy kiwis, very high percentage on those. And we've got some Yasta berry, almost 100% there. Nanking cherry doing really well. Quince surprised me with virtually 100% success, maybe the easiest one of all other than figs. Siberian peaches, and a ton of varietal sea berries. So with a totally janky system and I mean maybe $100 invested in the misting system, I have generated an astonishing number of varietal plants. I mean, for someone who grows a lot of seedlings and is sort of a reluctant grafter, this has been a really incredible experience to be able to do this with so many plants that I can't do or have had super limited success with hardwood cuttings on them, which is my favorite way to propagate plants, I think, other than seeds. But this may be the new favorite because you can keep your variety. Of course, it's on its own roots, which may have its own issues, but for a lot of these things, it's perfectly fine on their own roots. I mean, maybe I wouldn't want to do variety apples like this because people don't grow Cortland apples on Cortland roots, although who knows? I don't know. Maybe that's not too bad. And it's certainly easier for me to do a couple hundred varietal fruits this way than it is to graft them. I mean, way quicker, way less, many fewer steps, just generally less of a headache. I mean, for example, the book said that apricots were supposed to be pretty hard, and I got maybe 60% success. I mean, grafted apricots take a long time to do, and that whole tray of 50 took me maybe 10 minutes to do, so hard to beat. So a lot of the other ones that I planted out before this have been planted out outside, so they've had a little more time to get their roots set before the ground freezes, which we've got quite a while on that. I mean, I'm saying that right now because I'm chilly and we had a teeny tiny frost last night. But, you know, we still have a while before the actual ground freezes. So the outdoor plants, elderberries, and I mean, most of all of these could have been put outside too. But I sort of wanted to play around with this because I had prepped this bed. The misting system is on the far end of this bed, so I thought it would be a nice flow to just mist, root, and then stick them right in here for the winter. This was just tarped. We had grown kale in here for the farm. I don't know what I'm going to do with the figs because I think they would not do too well in here. So this is going to be unheated, but there are 2 layers of plastic here with air blown in between, so that does provide quite a bit of insulation. So, you know, these rosemaries, which are looking amazing right now, lots of regrowth after we harvested them. These rosemaries have been in here for 5 years, and the figs in the back there died back to the ground last winter, but came back with a vengeance. So I think most of this stuff will experience something like a zone 6B winter in here, which I think is totally fine. I was watching videos of other propagators, and a lot of the times they just leave these flats outside. Friends of mine told me that they do that as well. So, and that's like zone 5 or even 4. So, obviously, depending on hardiness, that seems a little extreme to me. But this way, they'll wake up early next season, and I mean, we'll keep updated here, but I would not be surprised if a lot of these plants set their roots now. And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if these sea berries hit 2 feet next year. And maybe they don't grow more than they look like they are right now. But it's sort of hard to. I have no way to predict how that kind of thing works. Sometimes plants just absolutely take off and they put on feet of growth. Other times they just sort of sit there, and I'm left puzzled. I mean, this is very high fertility compost here, so I think most of the stuff in here should take off pretty well. But anyway, that was just sort of an update on how the summer cuttings things went. Like I said, this is probably this amount of cuttings all told is probably a third of what I did, because I planted a bunch outside, and I'll probably fill the rest of this bed. And with high value plants like this, I am sort of just jaw on the floor like, wow, this is going to be a real massive change for our setup.